The Nigerian government has launched a subsidized rice program aimed at easing the nation's ongoing food crisis. The initiative, spearheaded by the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, offers 50 kg bags of rice at a fixed price of 40,000 naira in an effort to curb racketeering and drive down soaring food prices. This intervention is part of broader efforts to tackle food insecurity and the rising cost of essential commodities worsened by factors such as COVID-19 pandemic, the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and climate change. Haruna Sule Abutu, Director of the Food Ministry and Strategic Reserve, outlined the eligibility criteria for purchasing the subsidized rice. He explained that each individual is limited to one bag and must possess a valid national identification number. Public servants are automatically registered under the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System. And to unpack this, I am joined by Jide Benson, Public Affairs Analyst. Good evening. Glad to have you join me.
Thank you for having me.
All right. What are your thoughts on these subsidized rice program for only NIN registered citizens?
My initial thoughts are there we go again, or here we go again, throwing rice at every problem. And I don't know why the choice of rice. Beans is as expensive, gari is as expensive. Several other food items are as expensive. Food inflation at the moment is higher than headline inflation. So I wonder what it is about rice. And to now add a condition to making rice available, it is very discriminatory. We know the problems that have bogged down the issue of the National Identification Scheme: frustration, corruption, inefficiencies, and what have you. So what they're saying is that because you're not a duly, in quotes, registered Nigerian, you cannot eat. In any case, those who are going to be most affected by this are people that are in the lower economic rung of the ladder. So the person that lives in the inner parts of the cities, in the villages, in the remote towns and villages, who are not even bothered about NIN, because they would tell you that they don't need it for anything. All they are concerned is that to be able to live, to be able to eat and live per day. They don't have in their estimation anything that they will need the NIN for. So why are you compelling me to get something I'm not going to use? And those people cannot even afford the sack of rice if you bring it down to 10,000 naira. So I worry at how the government has arrived at this time.
Now, talking about the price of rice, you reference 10,000 naira not still being, affordable by the average Nigerian. Looking at this initiative now, what should be the conduct of these sale of bags of rice? Recall that there was stampede where about 7 died in February when the Nigerian Customs Service sold a bag of rice for about 10,000 naira.
When you create excitement where people are hungry, and that excitement is around food, of course, you'd expect chaos. You'd expect stampede. Now, people are going to come up with phony ideas of how to get their NIN between now and whenever the rice goes on sale, or to places where they're going to be able to get it on sale. Now, the number of people who even already have the NIN are more than the number of people who would have access to this rice. If the government attends to issues around securities, where farmers are able to go back to the farm, there will be increased food supply. And the situation that we're having where the government is having to wait in time and again will be reduced. Those who farm rice regularly and those who farm rice on a large scale, whether they have paddy or what have you, they need to be able to go back to the farm on a steady basis. The life of some people is completely agrarian, and because of security issues, they're not able to attend to it. So whether we sell the rice for 10,000 naira or 50,000 naira, and now add a condition to it, we're still going to continue to have a crisis on our hands. The food inflation is a result of certain things that need to be done, And until those things are done, we will continue to come back to this on a regular basis. Now, you've talked about, you cited the example of the customs selling rice for 10,000 naira at one point. Where did they get that? Where did they get that from? It was seized from smugglers. Why are people smuggling rice? It is because they are importing it, and the government is trying to frown at the importation of rice. And the importation is existing in part because local production is not able to cater to food demands.
Now, talking about food inflation, what would you recommend or advise as a lasting solution to tackling food insecurity or inflation, as we know of it, in Nigeria?
There are a lot of youths who are unemployed in towns and villages around the corner, around the country. Mobilize these people to be part of the security apparatus, whether as vigilante or what have you. Time and again, there's been talk about a second level of policing, whether we call it vigilantes or state police or what have you. There are teaming youths who can protect their own spaces where they will consider as their own areas of influence because they have vested interest. If these people are brought together to provide a wall around the farm settlements, around large farm settlements, we would have reduced insurgency that is preventing people from going to their farm. Nobody wants to go to their farms when they know that they can be killed on the farm. Nobody wants to go to the farm when they know that when they leave, cattle can come there and eat up all their food. So there's got to be increased concerted efforts, security, that would help us to address this issue of food inflation. Now, don't forget that there's a saying that when hunger is taken out of the poverty equation, the poverty is half solved. So we need to address the issue of security. It's very fundamental, and in doing that, we'll be solving part of the food problems.
Thank you so much for your perspective on the news, Jide Benson, Public Affairs Analyst.
Thank you.
Many thanks once again.